Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Hope everyone had a good week. Haven't been here in a while. Work has taken over a bit, but I'm back now. And tonight we're going to be doing City Council from HackSmarter. It's a medium active directory. I don't know anything else about it. That's all I've got from the description. And I've got an IP address. I'm already connected to the VPN. Let's get started, shall we? So, as usual, I'll start with an nmap scan. And we do have a few ports open. We have a web port. We have Kerberoasting, SMB, DNS. DNS over TCP, not UDP. Evil win or RAM. RDP. So we have quite a few ports to look at. But as usual, let's start with the easiest one, which is port 80. So before I even do anything else, I'm gonna start burp and thank you for the follow, Saul. And welcome to the stream. I have a feeling I know who you are. So while the scan is running, we don't have a named host just yet, so let's just add the IP address to burp and open a browser. Okay. What do we have here? Once it decides to load. This looks like, well, we have some users. We can take a screenshot of that and basically create a user list. Hey Flora, how was your week? Yeah, it's been a long one of my favorite saying is it's been a long month this week. I'm good. I'm good. A bit busy recently, but I tried to make time to stream as well, so here I am. So we have some potential users, but let's have a look. What else is there? Did that actually send anything? No, it did not. It's just a JavaScript. Okay. Yes, yeah, a long year this week, but you know, we do what we can. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, I have a funny feeling this is not gonna provide us much, so let's have a look. Oh, we have a download. And the bin seems to be, by the looks of it, a Python. Yeah, it's a Python application. Okay, in any case, we will need to download this. So let me take a screenshot to say what we found. Let's download both. Where's City Council? Loot, and we have... Are you streaming on Sunday, Flora? Okay, so we have some instructions that we need to add the IP address with these specific entries to our host file, so let's do that. We already have an IP address. I'm gonna stop the scan because it's at this point it's done the initial port scan. Yeah, we can confirm DC cc city.local. Let's add that to our host file, shall we? IP address is 10.161.216. Okay, so now we have an initial port scan, and we also have added the domain name to our host file. So the tool uses a service account to authenticate, which means it has stored username and password for the Active Directory, which means we need to extract that data somehow. So the first thing I'm going to do is run strings on the Windows binary and see what that comes up with. Oh. Thanks, Brave. Thanks for protecting me when I don't need protection. Hey, it's a VM. If anything happens with it, so be it. I have snapshots and I can recreate it. That's one of the reasons why we use VMs. Can we search for SVC? Oh, that's a lot of entries. Tag B4, so that's lines after, lines before, anything containing SVC. SVC is a standard way to name service accounts, and that did not find anything. Let's first check. It cannot find anything. Why? Oh, it's not finding anything because they're not, it's case sensitive, so that's why it's not finding anything. Okay, I think we need to run the file, run the binary, and I'm gonna run the Linux one, of course, but I do want to city service portal bin. exe. Yeah, okay. What were the instructions to run the binary on Linux? Okay. Don't do this at home, kids. Okay, so this is basically a Python application that's connecting to that. And you can submit some data in here. Ah, there we go. So it is connecting to... it's connecting to an LDAP server. Now, in this situation, we have two choices. We either use Wireshark to intercept the traffic, or, because it's saying here that it's using LDAP and not LDAP over SSL, we can try to force the application to authenticate to our service. So how do we do that? Well, we close the application. Let's do that first. If that doesn't work, we can switch back to Wireshark. And what I am going to do is duplicate that line. Map that domain to localhost. Wait, what was the LDAP port? 3268. Right, so now we basically have a listener, an LDAP impersonator on port 3268, and if we start the application, it did not do anything. Unable to connect. So connection refused. What port is it listening on? Actually, you know what? Let's do localhost and we use responder. So now it did say that it connected, but it's not actually, and we have the user here, SVC services portal, but we're not actually getting the data. I wonder what port is trying to connect to, if it's not the LDAP port there. Maybe it's trying on port. Hmm. .389. Maybe. Let's see. Let's do port 389 with NC. There we go. And we have a clear text password. Let me write some notes. So we basically got a username and a password now. Let's add the password to our credentials file. And the username is SVC Services Portal. And we can close the application because we no longer need this one for now. We might revert back to it, but because we already have a username and a password, I want to check SMB, I want to run Bloodhound, the usual that we normally do for Active Directory. Thank you for the subscription, Zero Mood. Right. SMB, right? So we can see if there are any shares. NXC SMB. But we need to revert our host file change. Let's keep that in there just in case. This also holds to validate the credentials, but they've already worked for LDAP, so what do we have here? Okay, so we have backups, uploads, the usual C drive and all of that, which we have only read access. We can check for any kind of scripts in here. So we do module spider plus. And this will run through all the shares and give us a list of all the files that are available to see if we have any scripts or anything interesting there. Let's have a look. No, so just the default registry and security policy, so nothing interesting there. Next step, Bloodhound, as we've already actually no. Let's do, what was the module that I needed? I think it's over LDAP anyway, not over SMB. Yeah, it's over LDAP. Okay, user desk. So we have a web admin. But that's about it that we can get from here. Okay. Let's run Bloodhound. So and in the meantime we can bring up Bloodhound. You watch streams, you watch content online, and you try out various tools until you learn. One of the things that helped me to get started. I didn't have any other certifications. I've done a bit of Hack the Box and Try Hack Me to start off with, and then I went straight for OSCP. And for OSCP, I've done all the machines in the labs, and on the side, I was doing Hack the Box. So I did get some training when I started. It's not like I sat in front of a computer and immediately knew what to do. And don't get me wrong, I'm still learning. That's a good point. I actually come from a programming background. So before moving into cybersecurity, I was doing software development. And I did that for about 13-15 years before I started in cybersecurity. So for me, knowing how to code was helpful. Okay, seems like we have all data in here, so we need to clear out. The idea is you watch content, you learn how to do certain things, and then you Google until you find a solution. There are so many free resources out there to learn how to do pen testing and red teaming. Nowadays it's quite easy to learn if you want to dedicate the time to do it. But yeah, I did have, as I said, I had quite a bit of knowledge in programming when I started. So that's City Council, loot, Bloodhound. Let's import everything. So with Bloodhound, this will give us a much clearer view of what we're dealing with in terms of an active directory structure. It will also let us know what users there are in the environment. I know we have an initial list of users, actually, with that. And now that we also have, we can validate if these users actually exist using Kerberoasting. Let's do that while the other one is loading. So we have potential users. We can do users enum DC cc.city.local, domain city.local, and we can use potential users, and there we go. The usernames are actually valid. For stuff like Hack the Box, don't be afraid to look at the write-up if you get stuck somewhere. Yes, try your best to do it on your own, because that's the way you will learn. But if you get stuck for more than 3-4 hours and you cannot proceed, look at the write-up. There's nothing wrong with that. You always have to learn. And in this environment, if you're not learning something new, you're doing something wrong. Let's see if Bloodhound actually finished. Yeah, that's done. So we have SVC services portal, which we can mark as owned because we have the password for the user. And oh, okay, that's not helpful, but we can look into certify later. Not sure if there is a certificate authority, but what we can do is actually check for the other users that we found, and that's jon.peters. Let's see, what type of user is jon.peters? Seems to have some outbound control. Okay, some GenericWrites, that's good. Then we have Rita. No, she just has people having access over her. Emma. What I'm trying to mark now is people with users that are important and might allow us to move laterally from here. Help desk might have remote management, so that's a good one to mark out, or might have backup privileges, anything of that sort that will be useful going further. So this is emma.hayes, this is jon.peters. What other users do we have? Nina. Okay, nothing interesting there. Let's see the main admins. Just administrator. Okay, nothing very interesting there. TC sync, nothing. Now we don't have foreign groups anyway, so nothing will show up there. Any RDP privileges? No. Kerberoastable users. We have a Kerberoastable user. What this means, we can ask for a service ticket and we can crack the hash for that user. So let me just take a screenshot of that. Doesn't have constraint delegation, but we can have a look at what actually we can do. As we see if there's a path. No, but we can do have a look at clerk.john. Users, everyone. Okay, well, he is Kerberoastable, so let's see if we can crack the password for that ticket. That's the one. Get user SPNs with a request. We will need domain, username and password, and I don't have it here. No, I do. So city.local /svc portal. That's the password. No, that's the username. And I forgot the IP. Why do I clear my terminal? There we go. Did I forget to remove? No, that's commented out. That shouldn't be a problem. Let's have a look. Domain, username, password. We can have a look at NXC if this fails. That's not a problem, because NXC can do Kerberoast as well. Well, what cannot it do? I think it's just Kerberoasting. What was the username? There we go. Right. So we have the hash there. I'm just taking my notes. If you've been on the stream before, you know that after the stream is done, I usually post my notes on the website so you can have a read through them. And that's one of the reasons why I take notes, is I tend to convert them to posts on my website. So that this is clerk.john hash. And if I'm not mistaken, this is 1700. Oh, I don't remember. Do I have it here? Yes. I don't actually. It's here. No, it's 1300. What was it? 1700 that I remembered. Okay, well, let's see. Hashcat. A0, clerk. There we go. Let's see if it cracks. And it does. Okay, we have another user with another password. We add it to credentials. And let's see, NXC SMB. Want to see if we have any shares. And the password works. And we have read write on uploads. Excellent. Right, we can mark him as owned in Bloodhound, as we have his password now. And let's have a look at what we can see in the uploads share. So, to create an exploit or something like that, to create an exploit path, I don't think there's a real reason to add an SPN to a human account. But I might be wrong. Some Active Directory guru might say that I'm wrong there. Okay. We have some documents, we have an email. Let's get everything. Yeah, I know. Up until now, with HackSmarter, I actually liked all the boxes that I've done. Especially Dark Haven. That was quite nice. That was a nice lab. It took us a while to get through it on stream, but it's quite nice. And I have to say, I find it more realistic than Hack the Box content. With Hack the Box, you find a lot of the most recent exploits that were published. You'll find them in boxes there. Even though there's not a real path to exploit that in real life, you still get it. Which is good, because then you know how to exploit that certain situation. But with this situation, with an SPN for a human account, we've done it previously on stream when we were able to add an SPN to an account, but only because we had write access over it, and then we could get the hash and crack it, and that was the intended path. I don't necessarily see another reason to add an SPN for a human account, but it is what it is. We cannot complain. Okay, that just looks like a wall of text to me. I'm not even gonna read through that. Parking permits. We already had a list of users from Bloodhound, but this one tells us where everyone is. So we have Jon.Peters, Council Administration. Let's see. Actually, we've seen that one in Bloodhound earlier. Has GenericWrite over 3 users. Web admin, we've seen that one. sam.Brooks, network operations, and then we have Emma.Hayes, which is help desk, which we've seen in Bloodhound previously as well. And a nice email. So what this tells me, this is basically a CTF type of hint. We get write access to a share, and we get an email from a different user, which is actually IT help desk. What this tells me is that user is set up to automatically access this share, and we need to try to do an NTLM capture. We've used a tool in the past as well called NTLM theft that can generate files, and then you set up responder to capture the hash. So let's go ahead and do that. But I'll take a screenshot of this email. Where do I have? Let's split that. Actually, we are in uploads, which is fine. Local scripts, I think. Yeah, there we go. So we can do the only problem is this one doesn't actually have an output directory. So what we can do is use it the other way around. And we have server, which is 10.250.236. File name Emma, because we're trying to, and we want to generate all of them. There we go. And now basically we have here a lot of files that will trigger an NTLM relay. An NTLM authentication, sorry. I'm gonna be uploading one, which is the LNK, to start off with. And if that doesn't work, we can try other files. But here we will need to set up responder. And let me write some notes. And there we go. We already have jon.peters. Oh wow. That is very persistent access. Okay. That's enough. We have the hash, we don't need it a million times. So we have the hash for jon.peters now. We need to crack this. NTLM v2. No, it's not net. There we go. This one. We can close responder because we no longer need it. We can close that and open another one. Right. So now we can try to crack the jon.peters hash. That's a different story. Jon. And let's see if that cracks. And it cracks. What do you know? I love the fact that they didn't set the passwords too complicated and it doesn't take ages to crack. That will just be a waste of time on everyone's part. So we can now go to our credentials file and put jon.peters with here's Johnny. Also, clerk.john, mark the zone, jon.peters. We can now mark him as owned as well. Although we haven't validated that the password actually works. Let's do that. I keep forgetting the IP address. 10.1.61.216. Nice password. So the password actually works, which means marking him in Bloodhound as owned is correct. We have read-write to uploads, which we already had with the other user. But remember we had a look in Bloodhound. This user has GenericWrite over 3 other users. I'll show that in a second. Yes, we did have to do something similar in a different box. I don't remember the box name, but you do have to use and create your own password lists for some of the boxes in HackSmarter. But yeah, normally you would gather knowledge on how to do that, on how to create a password list based on the domain and the information that you get on their website and all of that. Right. So add to owned. Let's refresh. So we own jon.peters, and we know that it has outbound control over Maria, Paul, and Nina. Oh, thank you for the contribution, Boony Bam. How are we doing? Where are we with that? Oh, 72%. Almost there. Now, we have 3 users that we have GenericWrite over. Let's see which one is the most interesting one. I think we might have to do all 3 of them. So Nina, no. Maria. And then what was the other one? Paul. They all have the same groups. Which so we can use targeted Kerberoast here. To try to get those hashes and then crack them. The problem is, I don't see. Yeah, exactly. So this is identical to a user pre-having an SPN set. It's just we're using targeted Kerberoast as the SPN automatically and then cleans up after itself. And it gets you the hash. I was just looking to see if any of the users actually have any groups that might say, okay, we have access to backups or anything of that sort, but none of them have that. So I'm just gonna have to check all of them. Okay, let's use targeted Kerberoast then. Where do I have targeted Kerberoast? Because I do have it somewhere. I think it might be in my tools folder. So yeah, targeted Kerberoast. Oh, thank you for the contribution. Do I have it as a virtual environment? Yes. So, and we have, do I want to provide the user's files or no? Just leave it open. I'll just leave it open to see what it finds. And we have TAC-U, Peters, TAC-P, 1, 2, 3, 4, here's Johnny. Okay. Apparently that doesn't work from there, so my virtual environment might be wrong. Python 3. I don't know who created the box. Let me check. Sub-Zero. I don't know who he is. So. Why is not passing something correctly to the script then? Let's pass a DCIP as well. And instead of uppercase. Ten one, and I forgot again. 61 to 16. There we go. So with targeted Kerberoast, we got clerk John, Maria Clerk, and Paul Roberts. We got and Nina Soto. Oh yeah, because we got the initial one as well, because that one already had an SPN. Doesn't matter. I just need to take a screenshot. Oh, you know what? Leave it. So clerk John, we already have the password, so we don't need to try to crack that one. We can just crack the other three. Now, 1 3 hashes, and let's see if any of them actually crack. And we have Maria, and we have Nina. Okay, so we have two passwords there that cracked. Let's add them to the credentials file. Okay, I know what these guys have access to, so actually I'm just gonna do it manually. I want to see if we get any more access to any other shares with any of the 2 users that we've just cracked. Nope. Nina? There we go. We have access to backups. That's good. At least we have a path forward now. I am thinking of streaming again tomorrow and then Sunday as well. Just because I've missed quite a bit the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow as well. But I will finish this box tonight, and then we can figure something out for tomorrow. Maybe we switch back to hack the box for a bit. I don't know. I'm running low on, well, I would say slim pickings on the machines. No, I have not done any hack the box certifications yet. I've recently started CRTL from 0 Point Security, so that's eating up a bit of my time as well. I'm not gonna start the certification, 2 certifications at the same time. My plan is to do CRTL in the next couple of months or so, and then by the end of the year I want to do OSED. So I can get my OSCE certification, because I have the other 2. I just need OSED. And my skills are lacking a bit in terms of binary exploitation. So I could use some improvement there. Unfortunately, I cannot help you with CPTS as I haven't done it. No, so this is HackSmarter. It's a different platform, similar to Hack the Box. Let me send you the link. I stream both Hack the Box and HackSmarter. I've started doing a bit more HackSmarter recently because all of their content is streamable, while Hack the Box you can only do retired boxes. Sorry about that. Hey Walter Chen, how are you? That's the one. I'm good, I just got confused with the domain that I was sending. Oh, so we have documents backup and we have user profiles backup. Can we get user profiles? No such file. Okay. Backups. It did not download. Okay. How are you doing, Walter Chen? Good week? So, clerk John is temporary IT admin. Okay. And we have a official records PDF. Something about migrating legacy systems to secure internal infrastructure. Maybe something to note there. But we'll come back to that if we need to. Let's see. Let's extract them. This is clerk John. Okay, I'm okay with that. We should have extracted everything else. Yep. Clerk John was extracted. Sam.Brooks. Okay, that was extracted as well. Okay, so there are some emails in here. Let's have a look. Let's do documents. So this is another CTF type of hint. This is pointing us to DPAPI. And that's why we have the user profiles there. So I'll take a screenshot of that. So that means, where is it? If I can remember where the files are. Microsoft protect. Okay. Then we have credentials. Yeah. So we can close that one because we don't need it. So we can do credentials. We need the master key first, not the credential. master key, and we will need a password, and that password is for clerk John, which we already have. We just need a file. What was his password again? There we go. To be fair, we should be able to just use so we need the SID for clerk John. Okay, because we're not we're doing this locally, but that's not the problem. We have the SID here. Oh no, that's the domain SID. There we go. So and now that we have the master key, we can decrypt the credential file as well, using the master key. In packet, DPAPI, H, file, app data, roaming Microsoft, credential, key. There we go. And we have the credentials for Emma.Hayes. Normally, if you are already on the box, you can use C# tools or any even PowerShell packages to decrypt those credentials if you're logged in as that user. But in this case, because we are not on the box, we're doing this locally, we needed to pass in the domain SID for the user that's holding those credentials. Now we have Gemma for James. Okay. We can test that password, but what I do want to see is where does that lead us. So this is Emma.Hayes. Okay, so the password works. We validated that. It's funny, we've been streaming for how long now? An hour and a half. And we have yet to get a shell on the box, but we have credentials for 6 users now. So Emma Hayes we can mark as owned. And she's part of help desk. And she has outbound control. Oh. Oh. There we go. Write the ACL to Sam Brooks. Write the ACL to Alex King. GenericWrite on web admin. Ooh. We know web admin has access over the, based on the descriptions that we found on the web server. So let's have a look at the users here. We have Alex Knight, member of. Not interesting. And now I need to go back. Sam Brooks. Remote management users. Finally a user that has a remote management, so we can use Evil WinRM. Oh, but the user is not enabled. That's not the problem. Yeah, I don't want to use targeted Kerberoast on this one. So, what we can do is the ACL edit, give ourselves full control. If we have full control, then we can enable the user and change his password. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Right, so Sam Brooks. Do I have? Yeah. Insufficient rights. Okay. So Sam Brooks is. Why though? We have generic over quarantine, GenericWrite over web admin. Wait, do we have the Sam? Yeah, we have a sam.brooks folder here as well. Okay, so we are being told that ASP is enabled and we can upload ASPX pages to escalate privileges. Anything else interesting in here? Credentials, maybe? Nope. No credentials. Nothing there either. Anything in here? Why did they give us the backup for sam.brooks? Only for the ASP? So apparently web admin was moved to quarantine. Is that correct? Is he part of... Yeah, he's part of the quarantine OU. Okay. So that email does tell us that, and we can see it here as well. So Sam Brooks is disabled. Let me just check my notes. Okay. Why didn't you guys tell me that I've mixed these two? Want to see me struggle? There we go. So now we basically have full control over Sam Brooks. And now we need to use Bloodhound to activate the user, right? Okay, so we've actually now enabled Sam Brooks, and we will need to change his password as well. change password. There we go. And we can test that. And it works. So we've given ourselves full control over the user. We've removed the disabled account flag, and we've changed the password to something that we know and we can use. I know, it's password to use, but it's fine. It's a CTF, it's not a live environment. Right, so now we can actually mark Sam Brooks as owned as well. And if I remember correctly, he has remote management enabled, which gives us access over WinRM. We finally get a remote connection into the machine after 2 hours on being in the CTF. So do we actually get? Yeah, we get the user flag. That took a while. Nice. I like the HackSmarter logo there. Good. Now, let's have a look. I can see jon.peters here as well, but we don't have access to him just yet. I think we have his password. Yeah, so we do have his password here, but that doesn't help us because he doesn't really have access. What's his level? Yeah, nothing useful in the groups here. We can close that. So there's backups. We've already seen backups. we've seen uploads. The web admin can do everything in that folder, which is good. Trusted installers, read execute. Okay, so we don't have write over that folder. But okay, we don't have access to even run that. Okay. Now we know that web admin has access to that folder to read write, and from Emma we have access over web admin. We have GenericWrite over web admin, which we could get the web admin user, but we know that it's been placed in quarantine. I think we might do something tricky here, in the sense of we need to grant ourselves full ownership over city ops. So we need to grant ourselves full ownership over city ops, so we can move web admin out of quarantine and into city ops. You know what? I will rerun a Bloodhound command. Because I want to see the new rights that we've just enabled for ourselves. Where's my Bloodhound command? Okay. No, that's fine. So generic all write the ACL on sam.brooks. We have GenericWrite over web admin. We have write the ACL on city ops, GenericWrite on quarantine. So we need to do a similar situation where we give ourselves full rights over city ops. And that is this one. Oh, this doesn't work for OUs. Ugh. Give me a second. Yeah. There we go. So we've given ourselves full control over now we need to move web admin from quarantine to city ops. Do we have that in Bloody AD? There should be, but I don't know the command by heart, so why I'm doing this is I'm assuming that quarantine does not allow the user to execute or to connect in any way, and that policy will hinder our progress. So that's why I'm trying to see I'm just looking through my notes, see if I've done anything similar before. I cannot find anything. Actually, I need a quick bio break, so give me 2 minutes and I'll be right back. And we're back. Right, so we were trying to move web admin from the quarantine OU to city ops. I wonder if there's any defender or anything running there. I'm thinking of getting an adaptive session. Since the medium box there shouldn't be, but you never know. Let's try it out. There we go. There we go. So there's no defender running on the machine, which is good. Otherwise this would have been caught. Let me just add it to my notes that we've actually got a Adaptix session running. I wonder if we can get the session running as Emma. Let's see. Well, we need to move the file. Okay. I wonder if Emma will have access to read this. If not, Emma, I think, had access to write to files over SMB. We can write it somewhere there where she can access it. Emma Hayes. Nope. She doesn't have read or write access there, so hopefully she does have access here. Run as user. Cannot create process, so I think Emma doesn't have access to read that file, unfortunately. We would need to change access. I'm just looking for my notes. In here? No, yeah. So it's, sorry about that. I don't think I can make it bigger on the interface, but the terminal, yeah. I think we need to change the permission on that file to allow anyone to read and execute. I'm just looking through my notes because I remember I've done this on a Hack the Box machine, but I don't remember the commands off the top of my head. That's one other good reason to keep good notes. You can always refer back to them. Or we could do it the PowerShell version to create the credentials and run the program as that. My thinking, I know PowerView has move object, so we can work with that. I was just hoping to do this through Adaptex, but we would need to create a session as Emma. Okay, where's PowerView? We should have it here somewhere. No, that's interesting. Doesn't matter, we have it here. No, not power up. Power view. There we go. Users, What was the name? So where is it? Because I know Power View has that. It's there we go. So we do have it, but we need to specify Emma's credentials. So we need to create credentials. How do we do it? Do we do that? Create secure string. Again, thankful for good notes. Where's my... Oh. My copy paste has gone haywire. Okay. We type it. New object, system management. Automation, PS credential, username, segpass. Okay, so this would basically create a credential that we can pass into to any other function, and it should execute everything as emma.hayes on the machine. So let's do that. What did I... There we go. So now we have the credentials object set in PowerShell, which should allow us to move an object. Use move AD object, which is, we had the command here. So we can pass in credentials. And there was an example, wasn't there? Here. And that would be from quarantine to city ops. Creds. Is it without yes? There we go. So now if we execute this, it should move web admin from quarantine to city ops using emma.hayes credentials. Directory object not found. Let's get the full path from here. Oh yeah, because it's with a space. There we go. Now, if we go to loot and do another Bloodhound. Oh, great. I've put it in the wrong folder. Doesn't matter. Come on. Right, that's done. emma.hayes, outbound object control. We have web admin, which we've just changed. We got ourselves GenericWrite on web admin, but web admin is no longer in quarantine. He is in city ops. And of course we also have generic all over city ops, which we've done previously. Now, can I add this to my notes? Yes, apparently it works for me to copy from VM outside, but not the other way around. Don't ask me why, I need to look into that. Now, we have web admin in the unit that we want it to be. We need to change the password because we still don't have the password for web admin, and we can use this one, set passwords, web admin, and I'm just gonna use the same password, don't judge. Why can't we change the password? Is there a password protocol or something like that? Because we do have full rights over web admin. We have GenericWrite. Oh no, we have GenericWrite, not generic all. Okay. Didn't we do full control? We did. No, we did full control over the OU, not over web admin. Got it. My bad. Target web admin. Sorry, it's getting late. There we go. So we now have the password for web admin. Does this one have a change permission? That would be useful. Yeah, well, you need to install a lot of scripts for it. By default, you don't have that many, but you can, they do have a lot of BOFs now. Which is quite nice. I used to use Sliver before, but with version 1.6, 1.7, everything is just failing all over the place. So I've moved to Adaptex for now, at least for the CTFs. It's just now I need to basically get used to it again. So we have the run as, which is fine. What I'm trying to look for something in my notes and I just cannot find it. Okay. Come on. Windows tasks. /t/c actually ag.exe g account name web admin yeah, it is similar-ish with Cobalt Strike. Even the interface looks very similar to Cobalt Strike. They haven't tried to hide it that they're copying the interface from Cobalt Strike. Grant specific user permission rights. Oh, /d/c. Okay, so web admin is now full there, which means we should be able, hopefully, change this one to web admin. And it still fails. Let's try something else. Something simpler. If not, I'll try maybe the BOF fails. Execute assembly then. That's what happens when you don't use a tool enough. You forget how to use it. Did my beacon die, or is this one still trying to log in? Well, worst case scenario, we can just upload run as and run it through here. Web admin, we need a password again. And the command line is ag.exe. And we get the token as web admin. And it's from this one. But I don't like... Come on. That's fine. Windows tasks ls. We can do run as, but instead of actually doing that, we can do PowerShell taxi start process Windows tasks ag.exe. And we get a shell that is actually responding as web admin. So let me add that to my notes. Wait, I need to add this as well. There we go. So now basically we are web admin, which means that in theory we should be a service user, but let's check. No, so we have limited permissions. However, we do know that we have the email in here stating that you can escalate privileges using an ASPX shell. So why don't we do that? Because we already have write access to that folder. Where were they? User shell, web shells, ASPX. Okay. Share web shells, ASPX, CMD Okay. System 32. Okay, so as I said before, the email that we've had before, let's find it. Backups, was it in sam.brooks? Yes. So we can upload a file there. Okay, and now if we go in the browser, there we go. We have, and we can do PowerShell, taxi, start process, Windows, tasks, ag.exe. Access denied. Oh, it's a different account, that's why. Doesn't really matter. We can do it a different way. So PowerShell, taxi, wget, http 10 250 236 8443 alt file, Windows, tasks, a.exe, because I don't want to muck about with. There we go. Some of them are paid for from my employer, but CRTL I'm doing on my own. There we go. So now we have all the privileges of a service user. Who can tell me what's next? Exactly. Our lovely, lovely potato. Let me just take some screenshots so I can put them in my notes. No. So I have got potatoes somewhere. It's not in here. There we go. There is a potato BOF in here as well. We can try that. Let's see. There is a potato BOF in Adaptix. So there are two actually. Let's do the DCOM one. So run Windows tasks. So apparently it executed successfully. Let's see if we can get, or not. Let's see if we just executed directly. Yeah, there we go. So the BOF that's in Adaptix works. We can try the other one as well if you want. The print one. Let's see. Oh. Same idea. And this one fails because there's no named pipe. But yeah, I do like Adaptix quite a bit. I've been using it for a while, and it's nice that you can generate shellcode. The only gripe that I have with Adaptix is it doesn't have a server, a web server on its own, and you need to store your files someplace else. On a real engagement, that wouldn't be a problem because you have different sort of infrastructure there, and you have a web share, and you have other places where you store that. But for CTFs, it would be nice if you would have a server basically. So console. And there we go. That's nice. That is nice. Right, well, we've basically completed the machine. I will stream again tomorrow. Yeah, so we that's it. We've done quite a few steps actually. We went through a lot of Active Directory exploitation and a lot of different users to go through. The only problem that I saw there is there were quite a few repetitive tasks, but still interesting. Now, I will be streaming again tomorrow, so let me know. LDAP modify. But I know for LDAP modify you need to create a diff file. Yeah, you need to create an LDIF file. So but yeah, it's doable even from a remote, but you already have access to WinRM. Might as well use it. Shall we try to raid someone? But in any case, as I said, I will see you guys tomorrow because I'm streaming again. And we can see what we're doing then. Anyone in cybersecurity? The Shy Hat is streaming again, so I'll leave you guys with him. He's doing some Python coding at the moment, and some Porswigger labs. So yeah, we'll be doing some CRTL practice now. It's almost 12 o'clock. Well, it is 12 o'clock. But yeah, I'll be doing some CRTL. If you have any requests for tomorrow for boxes, drop them on Discord and we can have a look at them. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, and then I'll see you on Sunday as well. Have a good evening.